Sam Darley here with a NFL training camp breakdown. Well, I'm going to start doing videos now about all the upcoming training camps and previews, and I'm going to give some predictions on who I think will win the divisions and who I think will win wild cards. I don't give MVP predictions because those individual awards. I'm more of a team guy, so I'll be picking a guy. I don't have a Super Bowl prediction, not yet. So I'm going to start with the AFC South and their season preview. Last year, the Indianapolis Colts won the division again. After reclaiming it in 2013, it's their second year in a row. It wasn't for the faint of heart, though, from the Houston Texans. They were the closest team to them at 9-7. They made a lot of big offseason moves, the Indianapolis Colts did. Though I think they bolstered their chances, their best chance. They are the best team in the division, without a doubt, but, well, they're not the best team. They don't have the best team, they have the best quarterback. Make that loud and clear. If the Texans had Andrew Luck, the Texans would probably destroy everybody in the division. That's probably the truth right there. With their defense and their running game. Do I think the Colts have enough to contend for a Super Bowl? Yeah, I think they do. Offensively. Their defense last year, people talk about, their defense isn't that good. I've watched their defense play. They get Robert Mathis back. I've watched their defense play the last couple of years, and I think it's good enough to give them a shot to go to the Super Bowl. They just don't play consistently good defense. They're not a consistently good tackling team. But as far as I'm concerned, their defense is about middle of the league in terms of. It's not a top 10 defense. I don't think they bolstered their running game. I just think a 32 years old Frank Gore is done. No disrespect. And when I look around the division, the closest team to them in the division is the Houston Texans. I do think the Colts will be the division winner. Again, it won't be easy. Certainly not with the Bill O'Brien-led Texans behind them. And I think Jacksonville will be a bit improved this year. They're going to have to improve eventually. Sorry, Jaguar fans. I have the Colts at... I have them at 12... No, I have them about 12, 13 wins this year. And they've been a steady 11-5 the last couple of years. They got to the AFC Championship game last year. I'm not saying that they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Everybody keeps saying, well, they went to the divisional round their first year with Andrew Luck. They got knocked out. Then they improved. They got to the championship game, and then they got knocked out by the Patriots. I don't think they have enough to beat Pittsburgh or New England. I mean, they have enough offense to put a lot of pressure on both those two teams. But when I look at the Steelers, and the Steelers have arguably the best running back in the AFC, probably the entire NFL. I mean, you can make an argument for Le'Veon Bell. He's a change of pace back. He's a bigger version of Arian Foster, in my opinion. And I've seen routinely how Arian Foster can absolutely kill the Colts. And I think what Le'Veon Bell gives to the Steelers, and I'll get into that when I talk about the AFC North. But Le'Veon Bell would just kill the Colts. He's just such a nightmare in the backfield, the passing game. He creates a whole new dimension for the Steelers. He makes them a whole lot tougher offensively, and I just don't think the Colts have the physical defense to stop Le'Veon Bell. I don't think they have the. I don't. And New England, you all know about New England. They just love to kill the Colts. Sorry, they do. They just love doing it. They're just that one team. They're just that one team. Everybody has that one team in the NFL that they just cannot get over the hump. And for the Houston Texans, that would be the Indianapolis Colts. And for the Colts, that would be the Patriots. There's always one team where it's just a big struggle. And for the Colts, it's the Patriots. And I think the Patriots are going to be right there again with the Steelers. And I mean, the Colts are a contender. And then you got the Kansas City Chiefs that are going to be making some noise this year. At least in my opinion, they will. I'll talk about them in a little bit. Well, down the road as I go further along in these videos. I do have the Colts as a 12, at least 12 wins this year. They play the NFC South. The AFC South plays the NFC South, and every team in that division is very, very, I would say very, very inferior. I'd be surprised. The only team I don't think will have any. The only team in the AFC South that will lose to that division is the Tennessee Titans. I think the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Colts will all beat up on the NFC South. I don't see any of those teams in that division being strong enough to get past Indianapolis, and I certainly don't see any of them get past Houston's defense. That being said, I got the Colts at the top of 12-4 at least, and then I got the Texans not too far behind at 11-5. Again, the Texans' biggest question mark is their quarterback. Who the heck is their quarterback? And for the Texans, do they have enough depth up front, and do they have enough depth, period? Defensively, they're loaded. I mean, their defense and their running game will carry them. They have, to me, when I think of their front seven, J.J. Watt, Whitney Mercilus, Jadeveon Clowney, I think he just needs to give the Texans a good, healthy, consistent season. I mean, really, when you got Vince Wilfork, J.J. Watt, and Brian Cushing says he's healthy, says he's better than he's ever been. He's not on crutches this year. He's going to be an X factor. He wasn't healthy to start last year, but got into better shape as the season progressed. And I thought after the bye week, the Texans' defense was just absolutely sensational. They only allowed 15 points a game, and in the offseason, they got more athletic in the secondary. They still got J.J. Watt. They added Vince Wilfork, and they're getting Whitney Mercilus. They're getting Jadeveon Clowney back. They're ready. Their roster is ready to contend. The biggest problem for the Texans is consistent quarterback play. If they got consistently good quarterback play, I could definitely see them winning the division. I don't think they will, but it wouldn't shock me if the Texans pulled it off. It wouldn't shock me one bit. And you can call me a homer because I'm a Texans fan. Sorry. I'm not. You have to watch the Texans and the Colts to know Arian Foster does kill them. He kills Indianapolis' defense. Indianapolis, though, they're a decent defense. I give the edge to the Texans defensively and in the running game. I like Foster more than Frank Gore, even at his age. I mean, Foster sneezed out 1,000 yards despite hamstring problems, and they're eventually going to get the quarterback situation figured out, or you'd think they would, with Bill O'Brien. He's a heck of a coach. He got 3 quarterbacks almost into the playoffs last year. The one tiebreaker they lost was to the Colts. It's going to come down to the games with Indianapolis for Houston. I don't think Jacksonville is going to play the Texans very tough. I got the Texans at least 11 wins this year. Again, the NFC South is a very weak division, so that should be 4 wins right there. For both Houston and Indianapolis. The team I'm looking at in this division that I think could really improve, really catch people's eye is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're very young, they're very athletic, and like I said, they play very, very hard. And eventually Gus Bradley's got to stop with this very, very hard play and get them on the winning track. Blake Bortles took a beating last year, and I don't think they improved their offensive line like the Texans. They got some offensive line issues, but their issues are different than Houston's. Houston's issue is depth. But Houston was not as great against in pass protection as they were against the run protection last year. Run blocking, I think if I remember correctly, they were 4th, and they were 10th in the league in pass protection last year. Houston has to improve that with Mallett, Hoyer, or Savage being the starter because none of those guys can run. Jacksonville, I think they have to start moving forward. They have to start winning games. They have to start proving. They got to stop getting beat up on a weekly basis by Indianapolis. They've got to start figuring out a way how to win. And stop being at the top of the draft every year. It's kind of ridiculous. They should have gone after Amari Cooper in the draft. They should have took Kevin White in the draft. But instead, I look at them and I see their offense. Their offense is going to be dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. If I was game planning against their offense, I'd just stack the box because there's nobody on that team that can stretch a defense. Julius Thomas and Mercedes Lewis are big, powerful tight ends. If you got a guy over at the top stretching the defense like Amari Cooper, or even if they had taken Dorial Green-Beckham, they would have had a vertical threat, and teams would have been like, "Whoa, we got to watch out for that guy." Instead, they don't have that guy. The team I think will stink and will be at the bottom of this division is the Tennessee Titans. There's no hope for Tennessee. They didn't need a quarterback. Zach Mettenberger is their quarterback. He's the quarterback of the future. And honestly, a week before the draft, you had ownership saying he could be another Tom Brady. A very low draft pick, but a very high reward for that low draft pick. And they just signed Marcus Mariota a couple of days ago? If he was your franchise quarterback, why did you wait so long to sign him? And that tells me you're not sold on him. Ownership is not sold on Marcus Mariota. This is why Ken Whisenhunt was fired from Arizona, because as a head coach, when he lost Kurt Warner, he doesn't know how to pick talent. Sorry, he doesn't. Marcus Mariota was a wasted pick. He might be a superstar, but I still think they should have gone or a wide receiver, or an offensive line, or even a defensive lineman Williams that ended up with the New York Jets. Way to go, Tennessee. I see Tennessee at the bottom of the league again. I see them. This is how I think the division is going to go. I got the Colts at 12-4. I'm going to give them a 12-4 record. I know I said 12 or 13 wins, but I'm going to go 12-4. The Texans will win 11 games. Will barely finish behind the Colts. They'll be the 5th seed. They'll be the first wild card team. I think Jacksonville will have a 6-10 record. They don't have enough firepower on the outside to threaten teams. They're a feisty team. They're a physical team. They're very athletic. They're very young. But again, you don't have that vertical receiver. It's going to be hard to move the ball offensively, and it's going to be hard for teams to take Blake Bortles seriously, because they're just going to stack the box. They are. He's not going to have any pocket because your offensive line didn't improve, and you don't have that guy over the top to stretch a defense. You're screwed. But I do think they'll get 6 wins. I think their feistiness and the fact they play the NFC South will greatly help them. Tennessee, again, if it wasn't for the NFC South on the AFC South schedule, I'd probably have them at 2-14, 3-13. They're a really bad team, but I got them at 4-12. I'll give them 4 wins. Their defense is still iffy. And the quarterback situation, now that's a question mark. They have Dorial Green-Beckham. Can he stay out of trouble? Can he be that number 1 guy? I think he has the talent. But I don't think Tennessee, deep down, I think Ken Whisenhunt doesn't know what he's doing. And he hasn't known what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he hasn't known what he's been doing since he lost Kurt Warner as his quarterback at Arizona. See, the fact that Arizona, before, 2 years ago when they got Bruce Arians, they didn't even make the playoffs. Oh no, Arians made the playoffs last year. Arizona got it going at the end 2 years ago under Arians. They missed the playoffs. The point is, Whisenhunt is probably outside Gus Bradley, is the worst coach in this division. The 2 best coaches, the Colts and the Texans, have the 2 best coaching staffs, and the Titans and the Jaguars have the worst. This has to be a make or break year for Bradley. He has to get the team to at least 6 or 7 wins. You cannot literally stink as bad as he has stunk, as the team has stunk, and still be there. There's so many coaches that are getting fired for. Look at John Fox. Took his team to the playoffs 3 straight years. Heck, he took him to the Super Bowl, Denver Broncos, and he ends up getting fired. He ends up losing his job. Well, Gus Bradley's has had to rebuild the Jaguars, and they're still rebuilding. They need to think about a move, too. They need to think about, maybe moving to San Antonio or L.A., but they're probably moving to London, because they're playing more London games than they are in Jacksonville. Sorry. Though at least it feels like it, because every year it's the Jaguars going to London and not somebody else. Indianapolis will win this division, but it won't be easy, despite what Colt fans think. The Texans are going to be fighting hard. They're going to play great defense. They're going to run the ball exceptionally well. If they get consistently good quarterback play, you got to watch out for Houston. But Jacksonville, Tennessee will be hanging around the bottom. But I do think Jacksonville will beat. I do think the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars will beat up on the Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and Buccaneers. Sorry, that division sucks, and none of those teams in that division are real legit threats in the playoffs. Anyway, so and honestly, none of those teams. I look at those teams and I'm like, well, besides the Carolina Panthers have a decent defense. Everybody else doesn't really have a good defense. None of those teams have a legit running back. I mean, if not for Drew Brees, I think the Saints would be the worst team in that division. But I'll tell you all about the NFC South another day. This has been Sam Darley breaking down the AFC South preview, and training camp is starting. Thank God. That guy got football back. One quick note before I go. The Texans on HBO's Hard Knocks. It's going to be good for the league to see a team that has represented itself well in the community. It's gonna be fun to watch. A well-ran, a well-disciplined, and they are a disciplined organization. They're not running around getting arrested, blowing their fingers off, shooting themselves in the foot. They're not getting DUI. Well, scratch that draft pick that got arrested for a DUI, but he ended up being let go. The day after, the Texans don't play that game where guys get when guys get arrested and they're like, oh, it's okay, you can still play. No, you messed up, you're gone. They're hardcore, and they are very classy. They do well in the community. I think you'll love watching the Houston Texans on Hard Knocks, and it'll be fun to see Bill O'Brien behind the scenes, essentially. This has been Sam Darley talking about the AFC South preview, and thanks for watching.